Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a fisherman and his wife who lived in a pigsty not far from the sea.
The fisherman would go out all day long a-fishing. One day, as he sat with his line in the sparkling waves, his line began to pull, and he caught a huge flounder.
To his great surprise, the flounder began to speak.
Please let me live. I'm not a real fish. I am an enchanted princess. Please let me go.
You can save your breath. We'll have nothing to do with a fish that can talk.
So the fisherman went back home to his wife in the pigsty.
Did you catch anything today?
No, I did catch a flounder who claimed to be an enchanted princess, but I let her go.
Did you make a wish?
No. What in the world would I wish for?
Look around you. Living in a pigsty is dreadful. The stench is disgusting. You could have asked her to give us a little cottage. Go back and tell her to give us a little cottage. She is sure to give us one.
How am I supposed to find her again?
Go to the water's edge and call out. She's bound to come to you, for you granted her a favor.
So the husband did as his wife requested, as husbands often do. When he got to the edge of the sea, he called out,
Flounder, flounder in the sea, rise on up, come here to me. My wife Ilsebill will have her own will and has sent me here to ask a favor of thee.
The fish immediately came swimming to him.
What does she want?
My wife tells me that since I managed to catch you, I should have also made a wish. She's tired of living in a pigsty and would rather live in a little cottage.
Just go on home then. She's already living in it.
The fisherman went home, and sure enough, his wife was standing at the door of a little cottage.
Husband, come in and look around. There's a parlor and a bedchamber and a kitchen and a garden out back with fruit trees and chickens. Isn't it wonderful?
I suppose so. Let's just hope it stays that way. Then we can live in peace.
We'll see about that.
Everything was all right for a week or two. And then the wife went to the fisherman.
Listen to me, husband. This cottage is getting crowded, and the barnyard and garden are really too small. That fish could have given us a much bigger house. I'd rather be living in a stone palace. Go back and tell the flounder to give us a castle.
I can't do that. She has already given us this perfectly fine house. I don't want to go back again. Besides, she might be offended.
Nonsense. She won't mind at all. Now get going.
That's just not right.
But he went anyway.
When he reached the edge of the sea, again he called out,
Flounder, flounder in the sea, rise on up, come here to me. My wife Ilsebill will have her own will and has sent me here to ask a favor of thee.
The fish immediately came swimming to him.
Well, what does she want this time?
Now she wants to live in a big stone castle.
Just go home. She's already standing at the entrance.
The fisherman left, and when he came back home, there was a big stone castle where the little cottage had been. His wife was waiting at the entrance.
Husband, wait until you see the front hall and the marble floors. We have tapestries on the walls and chandeliers for light. And the table, it's pure gold. There are fresh horses and carriages in the stables.
How are we going to take care of all this?
There are servants, and wait until you see the garden out back. It's half a mile long, filled with exotic flowers and fruit trees. And there's a maze. Isn't it marvelous?
I suppose so. I just hope it stays that way.
We'll see about that.
They went to bed. The wife woke up just as the sun was rising. She looked out of the window at the magnificent countryside around the castle.
Husband, get up. Come look out the window. Why can't we be rulers of this land?
Uh-oh.
Go tell the flounder that you want to be king.
But I don't want to be king.
Well, maybe you don't want to be king, but I want to be queen. Go tell that fish that I want to be queen.
I can't tell her to do that.
Why not? Just get going. I have to be queen.
That's just not right. It's just not right at all.
But as unhappy as he was, the fisherman went anyways.
When he arrived at the shore, he noticed that the sea was gray and black and had a foul smell to it. He called out for the fish.
Flounder, flounder in the sea, rise on up, come here to me. My wife Ilsabill will have her own will and has sent me here to ask a favor of thee.
What does she want now?
I don't really know how to say this.
Just say it.
Well, the thing is that she wants to be queen.
Go on home. She is all ready.
When the fisherman got home, he found that the castle had become much larger, and it had a tower and magnificent decorations. There were many guards, and the sound of drums and trumpets filled the air.
He finally found his wife seated high on a throne of gold. She was wearing a crown.
Goodness, wife, you really are queen.
Yes, now I'm queen.
Well, now that you're queen, can you leave well enough alone? We don't really have to wish for anything else, right?
Well, I've been thinking.
Oh, no.
Being queen is just fine, but I think I'd like to become empress as well.
What? Why would you want to be empress?
Just go tell her that I want to be empress.
I can't tell the flounder to do that. There was only one empress in the realm. Can't you just be happy being queen? Besides, I don't think even the flounder can do that.
What are you talking about? I am queen, you are my husband. Off with you. That fish can make me queen. She can also make me empress. Now get out of here.
He turned to go, but he muttered to himself as he left.
This is not going to end well. Asking to be empress is just going too far. Flounder is going to have had enough.
When he arrived at the sea, the water was black and murky and covered with the slimy yellow foam. A strong wind was blowing and leaves were swirling in the air. The fisherman took a deep breath and called out for the fish.
Flounder, flounder in the sea, rise on up, come here to me. My wife Ilsabill will have her own will and has sent me here to ask a favor of thee.
What does she want now?
Oh, flounder, now my wife wants to be empress.
Go on home then. She is all ready.
When the fisherman arrived home, the palace was much more splendid than before. His wife was wearing a high crown covered with diamonds and emeralds.
Well, wife, it looks like you're finally the empress.
Yes, now I'm empress.
Well, now that you're the empress, can you leave well enough alone? There's really nothing beyond that.
We'll see about that.
They went to bed, but she still wasn't happy. The fisherman fell into a deep, sound sleep, but she tossed and turned all night thinking about what else she could become. The next morning, the sun shone its bright light in through the window, and she had an idea.
Husband, get up. I want to rule the universe.
This startled him awake, and he fell out of bed.
What?
If I can't make the sun and moon rise, but have to watch them rise and set, I won't be able to stand it. I won't have a moment's peace.
Wife, the flounder can't do that. She may be able to make you queen and empress, but she certainly can't do that. I'm begging you to stay happy being empress.
At that, she went into a rage. Her hair flew wildly around her. She screamed at the fisherman.
Will you just get going? I won't stand for this any longer. I have had it.
The fisherman ran off like a madman.
Outside, the storm was raging, and the wind was blowing so hard that the fisherman had to push against it to make his way to the sea. Thunder and lightning filled the air. and the sea was rising up in great black waves.
Flounder, flounder in the sea, rise on up, come here to me. My wife Ilsabill will have her own will and sent me here to ask a favor of thee.
What does she want now?
Hear me, now she wants to rule the universe.
Go back home. She's sitting in her pigsty again.
And that is where they live to this very day.
No!
Listen up, everyone. Mother Goose read another great script before she flew off. We need to have the show ready by the time she flies back this afternoon. So let's get started. Everyone, take your places.
Mother Goose, another great script. Take one.
Action.
Mary had a little M, little M, little M. Mary had a little M.
Wait, just a minute. Stop.
Cut.
This couldn't possibly be right.
Why not?
Mary had a little am, A-M, am. Mother Goose would never write that.
Do you think?
Check the script.
Assistant, bring me the script.
Well, what does it say?
Mary had a little am, A-M, am.
What does that even mean?
We don't know. But it made it through the spell check.
Maybe there's a letter missing?
Well, what are you going to do about it?
That might work. Okay, we've got this. Let's try this again. Everyone, take your places.
Mother Goose, another great script. Take two.
Action.
Mary had a little ram, little ram, little ram. Mary had a little ram.
I'm being chased by a bighorn ram. Help! Help!
Cut. Corral the ram.
This couldn't possibly be right.
Why not?
Mary had a little ram, R-A-M, ram. Mother Goose would never have a ram chasing after me.
Do you think?
I'm certain.
Assistant!
Well,
We added an R to am to make the word ram.
Ram made it through the spell check.
but that doesn't mean that ram is right.
Maybe the missing letter isn't an R.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
That might work. We've got this. Send the ram back. Let's try this again. Everyone, take your places.
Mother Goose. Another great script. Take three.
Action.
Mary had a little yam, little yam, little yam. Mary had a little yam sprinkled with marshmallow.
Wait just a minute. Stop. A yam. A yam.
Cut. What's wrong now?
This couldn't possibly be right.
Why not?
Mary had a little yam? Y-A-M? Yam? I didn't sign up for a Thanksgiving show.
You didn't?
Check my contract.
Assistant, bring me the contract.
Well, what does it say?
It says no holiday gigs.
See, I told you so.
We added a Y to am to make the word yam.
Yam made it through the spell check.
But that doesn't mean that yam is right.
Maybe the missing letter isn't a Y.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
That might work. We've got this. Send the yam back. Let's try this again. Everyone, take your places.
Mother Goose, another great script. Take four.
Action.
Mary had a little ham, little ham, little ham. Mary had a little ham wrapped and tied with a bow. Everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the ham was sure to go.
Are you sure about this?
Cut. What's wrong now?
I feel so silly. H-A-M, ham. Would Mother Goose really have me dragging this ham around everywhere I go?
I don't know.
Check on that.
Assistant!
Well,
We added an H to am to make the word ham.
Ham made it through the spell check.
but that doesn't mean that ham is right.
But it might be.
It might not be.
Maybe the missing letter isn't an H.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
We're gonna try one more thing. Okay, we've got this. Send the ham back. Let's try this again. Everyone take your places.
Mother Goose, another great script. Take 5.
Action.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
Cut. How's that?
I think you're onto something.
Great job, folks. Let's move on to the next scene. Everyone, take your places. Cue the Chad for the next verse.
Mother Goose, another great script. Take 6.
Action.
Followed her to the pool one day, pool one day, pool one day.
Cut.
Hey! I was supposed to say cut.
I cannot continue like this.
What's wrong?
I'm not going to have a fine day at the pool ruined by this lamb.
But we're almost finished. The end is in sight.
Furthermore, I'm hungry and my contract requires that I eat lunch promptly at noon.
What?
Check my contract.
Assistant! Bring me the contract!
Well, what does it say?
It says lunch is eaten at 12.
See, I told you so. So, what are you going to do about it?
12 o'clock is only 5 minutes from now.
Mother Goose will be back at any moment.
You heard what my contract says.
But the show must go on.
Everyone calm down. I have an idea.
All right.
That might work.
Let's give it a try. Okay, send the lamb back. Everyone take your places. We're starting at the top.
Mother Goose, another great script. Take 7.
Action.
Mary had a little ham, little ham, little ham. Mary had a little ham wrapped and tied with a bow. Everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the ham was sure to go. Followed her to the pool one day, pool one day, pool one day. Followed her to the pool one day, so she ate it on a stool.
Cut. What do you think?
It's perfect.
Delicious.
That's a wrap.
Oh! Mother Goose, you made it just in time to eat.
Welcome to the game show that the entire fairy tale world is talking about. Fairy Tale Best Friends. I'm your host, Smiley Roberts. And today, 3 fairy tale friends are hoping to be selected as our contestants' new best friend. since each person can only have one best friend, we're here to help. Let's introduce our potential friends. First up, she's no stranger to delicious baked goods and hosts a popular podcast, Beware of Wolves. Please welcome to the stage, Little Red Riding Hood.
I'm thrilled to be here, Smiley.
Next up, don't let our tight blonde curls fool you. This fairy tale favorite loves to let loose and explore new places. You may know her from her hit TV show, Woodland Cribs. Please welcome to the stage, Goldilocks.
I love new friends, Smiley.
Finally, magic wands, fairy dust, and little mice are just some of the tricks in her sleeve that make this Wish Network celebrity life coach a hit with her fans. Please welcome to the stage, Fairy Godmother.
You look better in person than you do on TV, Smiley.
I hear that all the time, Fairy Godmother. I want to remind the studio audience that our three potential friends are not allowed to reveal their true identities to our contestant. That said, it is time to introduce our fairy tale friend looking for a best friend. Please welcome to the stage, Gretel!
I'm a little nervous, Smiley. I've never had a friend outside of my brother, and picking a best friend is even scarier.
Not to worry, Gretel. Here on Fairy Tale Best Friends, we have selected 3 excellent candidates to be selected as your new best friend. And they are sitting just on the other side of this divider.
Wow! Now I'm even more nervous.
Perhaps you should tell us a little bit about yourself. It says here, you and your brother are into hiking.
Yes, once we got separated from our father in the woods, and while difficult at first, we did run into a sticky situation with a witch. We found that we both have a true gift for hiking. Now we try to go at least once a week.
What a sweet story. Are you ready to find a friend?
So ready.
Take it away, Gretel.
My brother and I once found a cottage made of cookies in the woods. We both really like sweets, so we were immediately drawn toward the dwelling. What type of food cottage would grab your attention? Friend number 1?
Great question, Gretel. As a food connoisseur, I find that bread makes the best foundation for a solid food cottage. I know a baker in the village that makes dynamite brioche. I would love to see what one of those giant babies would look like as a decorative roof.
Sounds delicious, friend number 1. Friend number 2, what would draw you toward a house in the woods?
I travel quite a bit for a living, and I have been drawn toward many an Airbnb, but never one of food. I'd have to say if I were to be pulled in by food, it would have to be one of porridge.
Porridge? How could a cottage be made of porridge?
I don't think that would be possible, but could you just imagine a pool full of that delicious breakfast delight? It couldn't be too hot or too cold, but if it was just right, I would swim in it for days. I would give that location 5 stars.
Sounds relaxing, friend number 2. How about you, friend number 3?
What a delightful idea, a cottage made of food. Let's see, if I would be drawn to a food dwelling, it would have to be one made of cheese.
Cheese?
Oh yes, you say I have many nice friends and associates. I could just imagine having a place for them to relax and be creative. They say the way to a coworker's heart is through their stomachs. Imagine the dresses they could sew if they were surrounded by delicious cheese.
That's very thoughtful of you, friend number 3.
You've heard the answers from round number 1, so now it's time to move to round number 2.
While I try to focus on the positives in life, some things really bring me down. Ovens that lock from the inside are one of my biggest pet peeves. What makes you crazy, friend number 3?
Great question, Gretel. It's hard to be a life coach in fairy tale land. I guess I just wish that for once, someone would want me to listen instead of solving all of their problems. I am a great listener.
That's a true gift, friend number 3. Friend number 2, what's your biggest pet peeve?
I would have to say that my biggest pet peeve is poor craftsmanship, Gretel. There is nothing worse than a craftsman who doesn't take pride in his product. I travel the world looking for quality products. It is amazing how many times I'm disappointed. Why, just last week, a chair broke beneath me. And I sadly still have the splinters to prove it.
Goodness, that must have hurt. How about you, friend number one? What is your biggest pet peeve?
Wolves.
Would you like to elaborate?
I've seen things, awful things. I would never want a friend to go through what I have been through.
Okay.
One more question, Gretel. Then it will be time to pick your new best friend.
My, they're all so great. Let's see if this question makes my decision clear. Ahem. It's a girls' night out and the sky's the limit. What do you suggest we do? Friend number two?
That's easy. I would plan a 5-cottage tour of the cutest bed and breakfast in the woods. Not just a girls' night. We could have the perfect girls' weekend. We would rise early, eat a hearty breakfast, take naps, and then go out to look for antiques. They just don't make furniture the way that they used to.
What a great adventure. How about you, friend number one? What would you plan for us to do?
I heard you say you liked hiking, so I would plan a trip to see my grandmother. You would just love her. She lives on the other side of the woods, so we could take a basket of bread and cheese and make a day of it. A walk in the woods would give us time to talk about life and share stories. Now that the wolf is gone, we would be safe to enjoy the hike, worry-free.
Sounds perfect. Friend number three, what would you plan for a bit of fun?
Anything your heart desires, Gretel. I treat my friends very well. If you like dancing at balls, bippity boppity boo. I would make the perfect carriage out of pumpkins to take you there. If you like shoe shopping, bippity boppity boo. I know a famous cobbler who works in glass. We would plan our fun adventure as a team.
You really are a thoughtful friend.
Well, Gretel, the time has come for you to pick your one fairy tale best friend. Time's up, Gretel. Who's it gonna be? Friend number one, friend number two, or friend number three?
I have a question, Smiley.
That's not how this works, Gretel.
I'm confused. Why am I only allowed one best friend?
Excuse me?
I mean, all three of these ladies sound amazing.
You sound great too, Gretel.
Why one best friend? Why do we do this to ourselves?
You go, girl.
I like the way she's thinking.
Ladies, this is the way the world works. We'll have one best friend and other less best friends.
Says who?
Says, people.
I've been stuck with my brother Hansel because people said that we had to be a team in the stories. And he's fine and all, but I came on this show to meet new best friends. Each of these ladies has something that I would really enjoy in a friend. Friend number one, for example, really seems to know food, and I love food.
I really do know great places. We should grab some ramen sometime. I know this amazing little ramen shop.
Sounds great. And friend number two, you love to travel. I bet you could show me some great places to explore.
There's this little cottage off of the coast of Italy, and it has the most amazing beds. They're not too hard or too soft. They're just right.
Sounds like perfection. And friend number three, you sound like the kind of friend I would want to share secrets with and maybe receive some advice from.
Oh, sweet girl. The talks we could have.
Whoa. This is not how it works. Fairy Tale Best Friends is about picking one best friend. So who's it gonna be, Gretel?
All of them. Ladies, what do you say we change the format and all become best friends? I think we could be really good for each other. A best friend is someone you share your life with, so why limit that kind of special friendship to only one person? By saying that we only have one best friend, we are maybe missing out on the group of amazing friends that is possible.
Gretel, let's all be best friends.
This is not how it works.
Oops, Smiley. Looks like you lost your smile.
If more than 2 people can be best friends, what am I going to do about this game show?
I think a new name is in order.
What do you have in mind?
We think we have found a solution. We think your new game show should be called Smile with Smiley.
I like the sound of it. What would I do?
Well, you are clearly great at bringing friends together, so why don't you just do that? Giving friends a place to reconnect will really bring smiles to their faces. Just don't try to box friendships into preconceived notions. Let them grow into whatever they will be.
I like it. And I know the first contestant to have on my new show.
Who?
Your brother, Hansel. With all these best friends around you, he's gonna need a best friend crew of his own.